Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Evening all. We'll kick off in about a minute and a half or so. Hope you're all doing well. I've actually opened up both Facebook and YouTube so I can interact to some extent with the comments. Feel free, if you're new to the broadcast, feel free to interact, not just with me. As you see comments now, the comments on Facebook are only viewable by those on Facebook. The comments on YouTube, I failed to mention that, and I realized last week because I had people commenting on both spaces. So just want to mention that if you're on YouTube watching and you have more than one person, you can interact with each other via those comments, and then on Facebook it's a separate entity, but through StreamYard, I can actually interact. I can talk and see the comments from everybody. But you can only see the comments relative to how you're watching. So if you're watching me on YouTube, you can comment on YouTube. If you're watching me on Facebook, of course, Facebook. And then those who comment on Facebook can interact with each other, as well as with me. Should be an interesting topic. Should be an interesting topic this evening. We'll kick off here, and I'll give it another few seconds because of my explanation. For those who are watching, and again, I know particularly with Facebook, you don't have to come actually on to the broadcast to be viewing me. You could just be scrolling by the page and it'll play for you. If you have autoplay set up for the videos, I won't get into all that. I don't want to confuse anybody. How do you make that happen? We won't get into that tonight. But if you set up autoplay in the settings, it'll as you scroll through past a video, it'll play automatically. If you use Facebook at work, I don't recommend that, by the way, unless you got your volume down. Anyway, you know me. I'm gonna get into it so I can get out of here. Uh, 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 these days get a little long, and of course, most of you who are on my Facebook page know that I was blessed to be hired uh, at what's called Finding a Better Me LLC as a mental health specialist, mental health professional. And so, for those who do ask about when I'm going to start, if you know anything about human services type jobs, you know you got to go through background checks and paperwork. So, trust me, the moment I actually officially start, when I walk in and sign that paperwork, I will let my social media family and friends know, social media friends know that I have literally started. So, I got to turn in some paperwork tomorrow, and some more communication and go through that process. Start fingerprints, and it's going to be Friday, so we'll see how all that goes. But that's it. We're here. We're live. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. It's called a simulcast. We're broadcasting literally live to two different social media platforms, and we're glad to have. If you're watching this back as well, glad to have you watching this back. I know quite a few people actually watch it back and comment, and some send me comments on Messenger, which is great, and we'll love to have it. If you comment on YouTube on the watch back, that's great too. I'll get a notification and be able to interact with you. That said, let's get into it. Now, these words, mistrust, misunderstand, miscommunicate, misjudge, pretty much I think we can agree that most of us got it. Like we know what those words mean. If you read my write-up, I usually post it one day before, leading into the broadcast. I noted that I put those words in the verb form, right? And I noted that specifically because I want to be sure that you understand how we're going to look at them this evening. So we're looking at them from the standpoint of a verb or an action word because we're going to look at trusting, understanding, miscommunication, which I do believe is in the noun. Noun transitive, don't quote me on that. Noun form, I think noun transitive form. But I want to look at it as each word as a action. So to mistrust, to do this action, to misjudge, to miscommunicate, of course, to mistrust. Okay. So that's the first thing. I want to make sure we got that down. And the key part to understanding what I'm going to cover tonight is to recognize my main group. And I bring this group up now for more than a year. I've been doing the over a year's time. I haven't done 52 weeks, but I've done, well, 42. This is, or 44. I think this is week 43 or 44. And so over a year, we've done 40 something broadcasts, and we take time off from time to time for holidays and things. But anyway, such as Thanksgiving, that's a Thursday. We're not broadcasting. But what I want you to understand is community. And I mentioned this actually on Sunday while up ending the service or whatever we were doing at that time. Community. We often talk about community building in light of the issues. And so we're going to do that tonight. How do you build community when you have these types? See where I'm going? I'm using, I don't take long. I get right to it. How do you build community when you have these things going on? Now, if you're brand new to my broadcast on Thursdays, call Let's Chat. Let me give you our working definition to community. Essentially, you plus one person. So you plus one person in your home and thereabouts. I mean, you step out your house, you plus one. You're not a community of one. I don't care how much you may think you are. I'm a loader, Dave. I'm a community of one. The word community is in the plural. See, I gotta go English class on you just to make sure we're good. So the word community is in the plural. So you can't be a community of one. It just doesn't work. You're just by yourself. No disrespect. It's just by itself. So that being said, and that's even streamlined from what my normal, explanation is. But so you understand. So of course, if you live in a home, you have children. Well, it's you and your children. If you're married, it's you and your spouse, or whatever your living situation. If there's you plus another person, that constitutes community. And then, of course, you live in a neighborhood, you live in an apartment complex. That's community. Even if you don't talk to everyone in your home, that's still your community. As a matter of fact, you might not be talking to the people in your home because of some of these actions we're going to talk about tonight. And so again, if you're new to my broadcast, I thank you. Thank you for joining us. Say hello. Let us know you're here. But I want you to understand why I do these broadcasts on Thursday. Now, obviously, I'm a Christian. If you haven't realized that yet, my apologies, because I'm pretty obvious about it. But just in case you didn't know, I'm a Christian. So now what being a Christian means is not that I have to be quoting scripture every 5 seconds. I'm not knocking that. I'm just saying I don't have to do that. Now, I've been a Christian since 17. That's 30 years. I've been a Christian for 30 years. I have learned scripture. I've read the Bible. I so happen to be an associate pastor as well. We won't have to talk about that now. Well, all I'm saying is Thursdays are not necessarily about my Christian position. However, it's a lifestyle. So it comes out no matter what I do. So even if I'm not quoting scripture, the principles, and I'm doing this for my Christian friends, because you guys get a little nervous, bless your hearts. So for my Christian friends, I don't have to quote scripture every 5 seconds to be dubbed a Christian. That's not what the Bible says. What it really has to happen is I have to be principally based. And my principles come from scripture. They don't come from Gabe. They come from my parents, but my parents are Christians. So you kind of get the point, right? Anyway, so I just do that for my Christian friends who occasionally get nervous because I'll say something and they'll go, "Oh my goodness," if I don't quote a scripture every 5 seconds, they get nervous. So I want to don't be nervous. Stay with me. I should be able to talk to you and to those who are not believers in Jesus Christ in terms of for their salvation of their soul. I should be able to talk to everybody. I should be. If I know what I'm doing and done this 30 years, I should be able to. Okay. Been in ministry 28 years, been a Christian for 30 years. So this should be possible. Let's see. That said, mistrust, miscommunicate, misunderstand, and misjudge. And my position tonight is to say that I believe these things are very common in community. Oh, good evening to you. I believe these things are unfortunately common. Unfortunately, sadly, very common in communities. I have been the victim of mistrust. I have been the victim of miscommunication, the victim of being misjudged, yes, by people in my community, even in my own house. I have been the victim of being not only misjudged and not trusted, excuse me, but a miscommunication. Things said to me that were, remember the definition of mis is wrong. I have been on the end of receiving wrong communication, lied to, manipulated. That's miscommunication. I have also been, unfortunately, one who has done those things. I have misjudged. I have mistrust. I have miscommunicated. I have said things in manipulation. I have communicated things that were lies. Yeah, me. Now I know my transparency makes people nervous because you're like, hey, don't put that out there. Well, it's my page, and I'm going to put it out there because it's the truth. I'm not suggesting I did it yesterday or today. No, I'm just telling you, in 47 and almost 48 years of life, I have misspoke or miscommunicated. I have mistrusted. I have trusted somebody I shouldn't have trusted. I have not trusted someone I should have trusted. Now, you don't have to say it. I'm the one talking. I have misjudged. I have judged wrongly. I have misassessed situations. I have made determinations about people, circumstances, situations that were wrong. That's what the prefix mis means. So let's just get right to it. I have been guilty of these actions. I have been wrong. I have been in error. And I have also been the victim of people who have done that to me. So my first point out the box is let's just get real. This stuff happens. And the second point is it's not always intentional. I'm going to just go for the jugular. Why waste time? It's not actually always intentional. I mean, if we're just going to be honest here, people are not always just flat out lying. Maybe the issue, I told you I'm going to go for the jugular, is you have a trust issue. You have a mistrust issue. You trust wrongly. Oh, you don't like me, but stay with me. You don't have to like me, just stay with me. What if, have you ever thought about this, that because of situations and circumstances, because of maybe how you were raised, you were never taught how to properly assess things, to judge things, which is why you don't trust or why you struggle with trusting. In other words, it's not everybody else's fault in your community. You could have, even as a young child who was innocent and just believed everything and believed my daddy would never lie to me. My mommy would never lie to me. Well, I'm sorry to tell you, parents lie. And sometimes for what they really believe are good reasons. They do. Let's just be real. And this child who is innocent, in so much as they don't know a lie from a truth, they have to be taught that. So now they don't know a lie from a truth, whether it's coming out of their mom's mouth, dad's mouth, sister's mouth, brother's mouth, cousin, uncle, auntie, or whoever, right? Oh, I know you didn't expect me to come this hard. I know. Maybe you ain't never watched me. I don't know why y'all ain't figured it out by now. I'm not gonna waste your time. I'm gonna take this whole hour and some change if you give it to me, and I'm gonna use every minute to the fullest extent possible. That's what I do. So it's very possible that at some point in our upbringing, and I'm not trying to excuse anything. I'm not. Don't tell me about what happened to you when you were 17, or when you were 4, or when you were 10. That's not. I'm not getting into specifics. All I'm saying is we have to be taught how to do things. And these actions are actions. Trusting is an action word. Do you trust me? Do you do this act of trusting? But let me ask this question. And I want you to really, you don't have to answer, but think about it. Do you ever really remember anybody teaching you how to trust? Do you remember anyone teaching you how to judge or assess? Do you ever remember anyone teaching you how to actually communicate? Not just simply talk, but to talk with purpose, or to do facial expressions, or whatever you're doing, because our bodies communicate, not just our mouths. Did you ever have anyone pull you aside and say, be careful how you communicate? These are things you want to do. Dave, are you serious? Yeah, let's do it. Can you remember someone who had some years and some seasoning in their life? You know, they had some wisdom, pulling you aside and teaching you how to communicate, how to assess or judge, how to trust. Now, understand, and I know people don't like when I say this, and I've said it for years. We are, whether you're Christian or not, my belief system is a Christian, as a Christian, and from what I understand, and of course my background in psychology anyway, from what I understand, we're born trusting. A baby comes out from their mother trusting. When that person picks them up, they trust that person. They're not thinking to themselves in their infantile state, this person is going to drop me, this person is going to harm me. We're born trusting. So, in a real sense, in terms of the mechanisms of our mind, we just flat out trust. We're born trusting. We come out, let's get in it. We come out trusting. We don't know to not trust. Ever play this game where a baby, you set a baby up there and you tell them to jump and they just jump and they trust that you're going to catch them? They don't know 5 feet, 2 feet, 1 feet. Your hands might be almost on them already, but they just jump and you grab them and they say, "Yoo! How exciting!" And they want to do it again, again, again. You push them on a swing. Again, higher, higher. We play. That fun, think about this. Part of the fun for that child is trust. They have a blanket trust. Now, what happens, as we know, we all grown, is that events take place that are uncomfortable. Things become very uncomfortable. We don't have to get into any examples, but things can become uncomfortable for that child. And some things need to be. They're getting ready to touch a hot stove. They don't know the stove is hot. Now, when you hit their hand, they don't know that that's actually an act of protection. You're actually protecting the child. Yes, it's a scolding, it's a rebuke, but it is a rebuke for the sake of building that child's trust that you will protect. Now, they won't feel that way because the pain in their hand is greater than their desire to touch the stove. That's why you hit them. You don't want them, you want them to think, if I touch this stove, mommy's going to hit my hand. Now, you don't do that forever because you turn around and want to teach them how to cook on the stove. But you teach them the proper way to address the stove. And all those kinds of teachings, watch this, fall under the umbrella of trust. How do they trust that when they're 12 years old or 14 or whenever you learn how to cook? I don't want to give an age. I should have gave an age because Gabe, I learned how to cook at 8. Okay. But whatever age you were when you were given this responsibility, to approach the same hot stove, and they said, okay, here's what you do. Now be careful now, it's hot. Those were moments of trust. Those were moments when you were instilling in your child, or it was being instilled in you, a trusting that you're no longer an infantile, you're no longer an adolescent, you're no, well, I don't know when you learn how to cook, but you're no longer, in elementary school or whatever the case may be. And now, because you've come to a certain age and you have a certain level of understanding, we can begin to teach you more things. So the first thing I want to make sure we understand, now, of course, we're all grown, but I want you to take a minute because I'm going to show you how what happened to us in our childhood speaks to in part of how we respond and how we act out these four things: trust, communication, understanding, and judgment. So if in childhood, now stay with me, you've had an abusive childhood in some form, verbal abuse, neglect, or physical abuse, or even sexual abuse, obviously trust is going to become extremely difficult. And the fact is, though we just trust automatically, think about what happens we're born trusting, and then those abuses cause our trust to get marred. Let's just go for it. Let's not waste your time. So if you've been through any kind of abuses as a child, you want to trust mom, dad, sister, brother, cousin, whoever in the neighborhood. The guy in the neighborhood who, oh, come here, I got you, and he does something inappropriate. He makes a gesture or otherwise, and now he says, come here, and you stand there. And he offers you some candy, and you want the candy, but last time you took the candy, he misused you, he abused you, and so this automatic trust that you had when you were born is now marred, it's twisted, it's all mangled up, and it's not just a reaction to him; it's a reaction to others who offer you candy. And if it's a male that did it, then all males who come after that, you start looking at them sideways. See how serious this is immediately? We're only dealing with one: trust. Trust is an action. So, as a child, if your trust gets mangled and your trust gets marred, you can understand why at 30 years old, 50 years old, 70 years old, 90 years old, 110 years old, why things are so very uncomfortable for you. I've had many conversations with people who flat out tell me, Gabe, I just don't trust. And they hate when I tell them, well, actually, you do, which is what gets on your nerves because you are built, yes, by God to trust. Because if you didn't have the ability to trust naturally, you would kill yourself. I said it out loud. You don't realize you actually have to be able to trust to function in this life. Have you ever gotten into public transportation, Uber and Lyft included? Do you know that when you climb into that person's Uber or Lyft, as well as a cab or a bus or otherwise, you trusted them? Did you know that you were trusting? So I don't care how many times you tell me, Gabe, I don't trust nobody. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Do you buy food from a grocery store? Do you buy and eat anything that you did not grow or you did not prepare yourself? If you do, you are operating with a measure of trust. There's nothing you can do about it. I am wearing a shirt that I did not create. I trusted that manufacturer that I don't even know who did it to create clothing that will not only fit me, but will not fall off me and not fall apart while I'm out and about in the community. Because if I scare a whole lot of people and the birds would be scared, the people would be scared. It would be a very traumatic situation. So from the get-go, this is why I started with this one, we are born trusting. Again, we drop that child one time. No more. Oh, come on. I'm sorry. No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. You gonna catch me? Yeah, I'm gonna catch you. Okay, don't drop me. No, I got you. Don't drop me. Okay, okay. I'm not gonna drop you. Once they get dropped, have you ever been dropped in your life? Have you ever had a husband or wife drop you? Have you ever had a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a fiance drop you? Have you ever had been fired from a job unjustly? It's like being dropped. Once that happens, you still got to work. You still, if you want to be in a relationship, you still got to engage, right? You got to engage people, but trust is hard. But let me go back to the original question. In light of everything I just said, what if now here you are, I'm 47, let's use me, I'm 47 years of age. I've had a few failed relationships. I've had, as we say, my share. So here I am. Let's say I want to get into a relationship. I want to get married. And I'm talking to someone. I don't know them. They haven't done anything to me. They haven't done anything to me, but I'm sitting there judging every word that comes, every gesture, everything that comes out. Why she say it like that? Why she look like that? Why she do her hair like that? I don't know if I trust. I don't know if I trust. Now, here's the thing. I know you ain't gonna like it, but stay with me. That person hasn't actually done anything to me. So guess what? I am performing an act of misjudging because I don't know how to trust. In other words, I trust wrongly, and if I trust wrongly, I judge wrongly. Talk to me. Come on. Talk to me. I know we blame everybody else. I know. I've been there. I told you, didn't I tell you I've misjudged? I've mistrusted. I've miscommunicated. Have you ever accused someone of something they weren't guilty of? I know you don't like me right now because you thought I was just going to say everything in your favor, but you know I don't do that. You know I don't. I can't help you if I just say what you already believe. If I just say what you already know, how do I help us? I can't help you like that. I want to help you. The fact is, how did I learn to trust after all the hurts that I've been through? I know you want to know all the relational hurts I've gone through. How did I learn to trust? Because I had to be honest with myself that I was the one who performed the act of trusting. I was not the only one. I wasn't just the one sitting there being talked to. I was also speaking. I was also doing some talking as well. I was doing some assessing as well. I was just as much guilty as anybody else. And so before I started judging them lying or them doing this or dropping me or doing all of this, I had to stop and deal with me. And I realized I couldn't even trust myself. Truth be told, I shouldn't even show trust in me. I was so bad at trusting. I was so wrong at trusting. I shouldn't have even been trusting my own self. Now, ain't nobody gonna be real, but I'll be real in here. I shouldn't have been trusting myself. I didn't know what it takes to have a good relationship. I didn't know. I didn't know. Yeah, I saw my parents, but I wasn't all in a relationship like that. I didn't know the building blocks of their relationship. Yeah, they've been together 51 years, but I wasn't all up in a relationship. So, what are you guys doing? How do you guys have a great relationship? I didn't do that. I just, wait a minute, assumed that since I'm a nice guy, she's a nice girl, we're good. No, relationships take work. Relationships require that we not wear our emotions on our sleeves and that we may have to deal with miscommunication. We may have to deal with issues that test our trust. I see somebody work the word test. Yes. That what we have to do is, watch this now, we have to test our own ideas about trust. We have to test our own ideas about communication. I know you don't like me right now, but you know what I'm saying is exactly what you need. Because all of us assume we know what good communication looks like. All of us assume that we know what trust looks like. All of us assume that we know what understanding actually looks like. And what we really are saying is, if it makes me feel good, then it is good. Come on, is anybody going to talk to me? The truth be told, that if it makes me feel good, if it's what I want to hear, then it must be good. And the fact is, that is not true. That's actually mistrusting. That's actually misjudging. In other words, I want people to tell me the truth, not just because I think it's going to make me feel good. Even if it doesn't make me feel good, tell me the truth. Even if it costs me my relationship, tell me the truth. Even if I have to change my ways, tell me the truth. But wait a minute, Gabe, you're telling me that I can't be at the center of attention if this is going to work? Wow, Gabe, where did you come from? What are you saying, Gabe? I have to be at the center of this thing or it doesn't work. I'm sorry to tell you, part of the reason why we don't do a very good job at any of these is because the attention is always centered on us. It's always centered on us. Have you ever bothered to ask yourself, does the person trust me? Am I doing trustworthy things? Or do you just assume you're already always trustworthy and you just assume that they know what that looks like? And so you can't figure out why they're struggling to trust you and you're ticked off, but you have never stopped to ask, am I doing the things that actually will give them reason to trust me? Or should they just figure it out? They should just figure out I'm trusting. They should just know that I'm a woman or a man of integrity. I would never lie to anyone. Well, excuse me, Jesus. Sorry, Jesus, little brother. Excuse me, God. Excuse me, Holy Spirit. I know you're perfect in all your ways, but I'm not. I'm not. I'm not. So let me tell you some things I've learned in becoming single. Gabe, if a man is sitting there on his cell phone next to a woman that he supposedly has interest in, and he's constantly doing this, it's really difficult to assume, especially when he just turns himself and he doesn't want me to see anything, that he's actually trustworthy. But then when you say something to him, he goes off and says, you got trust issues. Now, I know some of you gave us, not me. I ain't got to look all in his phone. I'm not saying that you have to. But let's be honest, ladies. If the dude is on his phone, as soon as you walk up, it hits that holster. As soon as you walk up, boom, it's in his pocket. Every time you walk up, boom, get off the phone. Sometimes you don't even say bye, boom, off the phone. Well, Gabe, I just thought that was me because, I got cheated on. No, the man's behavior is suggesting that he is not interested in being trusted. I said it. Hey, fellas, stay with me. Stay with me, fellas, because more often than not, that's us. Even if you weren't talking to no other woman, more often than not, we behave in shady ways. And then we get mad when the person that we claim to love, or at least we want to be in a relationship with, calls us on it. We get all hot and bothered. Oh, you just need to get over yourself. Now, she might have some healing to do. But unfortunately, your behavior has sparked some issues, probably from childhood or earlier days in relationships. You have sparked, sir, some things that have caused her to feel very uncomfortable with being in your presence, with how you're handling, you're engaging potentially others. Now, notice, I said potentially, because I have been misjudged for having communications with others while in relationships, and I wasn't doing it. So I know that feeling too. But the reality of it is, see, I'm talking community. I'm talking about these things in a community. And if you know on both sides of the coin, you know that seeing a man on his phone makes you nervous, why are you trying to get into a relationship? I'm just gonna get in trouble. You know me. I ain't gonna waste your time. What if you know you can't handle a man that you're interested in being on his phone without having a thought in your head, I wonder who he's talking to. Stop trying to get into a relationship. And if you're in a relationship, then you need to get that dealt with fast, quick, in a hurry, or you're going to potentially destroy your marriage or your relationship. And that goes for men as well. Here's a word, if you really want to understand where I'm going with this when it comes to trust in a relationship: jealousy. Sound familiar to anybody? Jealousy. Remember that song? Jealousy, jealousy, jealousy. I took y'all way back on that one. I know y'all don't know that one. I remember that as a kid. Jealousy, jealousy. Oh, how about siblings? We don't have to just deal with men and women or relationships. How about siblings? Mom, why you always buy them something? You don't never buy me nothing. Boy, didn't I buy you something last week? Yeah. And now your mama feel the need to explain why she getting your sister something. We call that envy. We call that covetousness. So it ain't just men and women. It's in community. Why they get a promotion? Why they get a promotion? I've been here for 5 years. Why they get a promotion? Now my question is, do you know how long they've been here? Well, I don't know. Well, then shut up then. If you don't know how long they've been here, shut up. What if they've been there 10 years? What if they've been there 4 years, but they're working overtime? You don't want to work no overtime. You don't want to do extra tasks. You don't have the skill to do their job. And so they're getting a promotion because they got more skill, but because you're envious, you are, watch this, misjudging. You are misassessing. Oh, I'm all in your business tonight. I'm all in your Kool-Aid. Call me sugar. I get called that from time to time. I live in the South anyway, so it's okay. The fact is, you all this envious and jealous and got strife, all that stuff going on all in your chest, making your blood pressure shoot up because you're misjudging. You don't understand what's happening. You don't have any information at all. You don't know why he's on his phone, and you don't know why she's tripping behind you being on your phone, because she ain't tripping. It's not you being on your phone. It's the fact that you keep turning. It's the fact that you keep putting it away soon as she gets 5 feet away from you. It's the fact that you keep watching the door. I'm good. Yeah, nothing's going on. Yeah, I'm good. Hey, why you go? You tripping. You tripping. I can't deal with you right now. You can't barely get in the car. So, you're saying in terms of community, we have to learn how to do these things so that we don't actually do them wrong. Yes. I believe, though, trust is something we're naturally born doing. That particular one we're born doing. But I believe that we can learn these things. I believe we can learn. I believe we need, and I don't care how old you are. Don't give me no nonsense. You can learn this. The question is, watch this, do you want to learn? Again, I'm in my 40s. I'm inching close to 50. So I might decide you can't teach an old dog new tricks, right? But I'm gonna be honest. I don't care how old I get. If I'm not doing a very good job in my communication, in my understanding, in my assessment or judgment, and in my trusting people, I need to learn it. I don't care how old I am. I'm talking about me. I need to learn. Why? Because I live in a community. I want my son to trust me. Do you hear what I'm saying? And he's 15 feet away from me in his room. I need my son to trust me. Do you understand? Is anybody talking? I need my child to trust me. Yes, I can tell him what to do. I do. I'm his dad. I'm supposed to. And yes, I control his going and his coming. You're right. I'm going to drop him at school. I'm going to pick him up. But I need my child. Look, I'm not talking for you. I'm talking for me. In raising my son, I need my son to trust me. I need my son to watch me and learn how to be trusting while watching me. I need him to watch me trust people. He needs me to trust him. He needs me to demonstrate trust in him, which means I cannot just shelter him and don't let him breathe. Don't do that, son. Don't do that. You know what I'm really, I know some of you said, Gabe, I've already raised my kids and you're hurting my feelings. I'm not trying to. But listen to me. If I don't give my son room, let me tell you what I'm communicating to him. I don't trust him. I know you never thought about it that way. You just thought you were protecting your child from all the evils in this life, which is virtually impossible. Let me just tell you right now, you cannot accomplish that. Stop trying to do that. And if you did that, you probably learned what I'm saying to be true. You could not, you did not keep your children from the evils of this life because they have a mind. And unfortunately, we are all born evil, whether we want to admit it or not. And without anybody having to say anything, we think mischievous thoughts. I don't have to have my parents tell me nothing. I saw people at school doing stuff. My siblings, my cousins did stuff, and I was watching them. But I need my son to trust me. My son needs me to trust him, which means since he's the younger and the one learning, I've got to give him room, yes, to potentially hurt my trust. Yes, to inappropriately, look, I know, just keep your toes out there. I'm not done stepping on. I need him to operate and learn how to do things that are trusty, which means he has the opportunity to fail me. He has the chance to fail my trust. But if I am, here's another word, mature in my ability to trust, guess what? I take certain circumstances in account. He's 12. There's a whole lot of things in his life he doesn't know. So because I want him in my community, I know, just stay with me. I know. But because I want my son to be in my community past 18, I'm going to take it slow. I want my son in my community past 18. So while he's under the age of 18, I'm going to have to give him room to potentially wrongly handle my trust in him and not kill him, not maim him, not lock him away in his room, but actually talk through, communicate with him how he hurt my trust in him, give him the opportunity to repair that. Y'all know I'm not done, right? So that we can regain our trust in one another. And, Gabe, really? Yeah. I have to show trust that the lessons I'm teaching, he can get them, he can put them into play, and I can show that trust, hopefully, without a lot of turnaround. Let me ask you a question. For those who've raised children, what was the point of punishment? What was the point of grounding them? What was the point of spanking them? It was to consequent their action. Okay, but did you keep punishing them going forward by not allowing them opportunities to gain your trust? I know, I know, I know, I know. It's hard. It's hard. I was a stepdad. All my stepchildren are grown. It's hard. Oh, and I can tell you some stuff. I'm not gonna do it, but I can tell you some stuff. So, stay with me, please, please. So now you have grown kids, and you're watching them in their life from a distance, some measure of a distance. Let me ask you a question. You don't have to type nothing unless you want to. But are all your kids trusting? And if not, in other words, are they behaving as men, young men and women who can be trusted? And and do they trust others? Woo! I love it. I love it. Because if they are unable to trust others and to behave as ones who are trusting, I need you to do something. I need you to take a minute and ask yourself, is it possible that some of that is my fault? Because if you discover that some of that may be your fault, you need to have a conversation. Yeah, you know me, I'm solution oriented. If you find that your children are having issues as grown people, trusting and behaving as one to be trusted, some of that, I don't know how much, may be your fault. And I'm not going to apologize. I'm not going to apologize. Look, we're talking about community. I want my son to be in my life past 18, which means he trusts me because he doesn't have to. Because I know he doesn't have to stay in my life past 18. I don't give a rip what you tell. I'm gonna always be your mama. I'm gonna always be your, yeah, true, biologically, but I ain't gonna be around you. I trust my parents. I've lived with them as a grown person a couple of different times because I trust them. I trust them so much. My son has been with them when I was here in Louisiana and he was in California. And I trusted them with his life because they are perfect. No, 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 no. But because they've done things for me to trust. And so I showed trust in them in regarding my one and only child. Now, I don't really know if there's anything else I can trust somebody with beyond my own life, which would be my son's life. I have told and she'll end up watching this, I told my son's mother, I trust you with our son. I told her point blank, I trust you. Okay, you don't have to say, no. She was in California. I'm in Louisiana, 1,800 miles away. I wanted his siblings to know, I trust you with your little brother. I trust you with my son as they trust me with their brother and her son. She trusts me with our son. I know you don't think it matters, but it matters. It matters. So now all the other ones fall in line. Notice? So then I got to be careful of miscommunicating with our son. I got to be careful not to be telling him things, not only that he doesn't need, but that are just flat out lies. Now, some of the truths that I've told him and will share with him in his life will be difficult. Yes, because this life has difficult, I've told him some very difficult things in his 12 years. And I will have to share some more difficult things. But I promise you, and I'm saying this and he can hear me, I promise you, I haven't lied to him. I promise you, I haven't lied to him. And I will not lie to him because I need, do you understand? I will not miscommunicate because I need him to trust me. Past 18. Get it? Past 18. So if your relationship with your grown children are hurting right now, this could be the reason. And it may not necessarily all be their fault. Yeah, they're out there acting a fool. They're out there doing all kind of things. But this one may be at the very foundation for the things that you see them. I know you don't like that because it sounds like I'm just blaming you. I'm not. I'm just trying to empower you with information that will help you to fix the situation. And if you really love your children, and if you really want them to be in your life now that they're 30, now that they're 20, 30, 40, maybe even 50 and 60, and you're 80, okay, cool. If you really want your children to communicate with you, I'm talking to you. Fix it. If you know you said things in front of them that might not have been completely true about their dads, might not have been completely true about them, about yourself, and you are leaving it to them to find out those things on their own, how do you expect them to keep demonstrating trust in you? I'm going to get off this, but I feel it tonight. I feel it. Now let me get in more trouble, if that's even possible. Husbands, wives, boyfriends, girlfriends, fiancés. Everything I just said gets magnified because we choose those relationships. Our children don't choose us. We didn't choose our parents, but we choose these relationships. And trust and miscommunication and misassessment, misjudgment, and misunderstanding can destroy the best. Now, if you've ever been lied to, you know how serious this conversation is, especially if the person in your community was your husband, was your wife, was your girlfriend, was your boyfriend, was your fiance. If you've ever been lied to by those people, it can be very damaging to your system. And I don't mean just verbal miscommunication. I mean actions. Actions. My second wife told me, God rest her soul, that her husband, before me, lost his job. So what he would do is, because he didn't want to confront her, he would go sit at the park all day. I kid you not. She told me the dude would go sit at the park for 8 hours a day. 9, I guess, if you count lunch. And he did it until payday. And she expected money to come in the house. And he finally had to tell her, oh, I got fired. When? Weeks ago. Now, he didn't lie with his mouth. You understand? He didn't lie with his mouth. He lied with his actions. The dude lied because he got up and went to work, but he didn't go to work. And he came home. Well, he did lie with his mouth. How was work today? Oh, it was good, honey. If you call swinging on a swing and going on a miracle, I'm sorry. I can't help it. So, for a whole pay period, the idiot lied. He lied in his actions. He lied with his mouth. He lied. The price that you pay is not only does your marriage end, which is their marriage ended, that wasn't the reason, but that was a part of it from what she told me. But also, dude, we needed the money. Apparently, instead of going to get another job, he just stayed at the park. I can't make this stuff up, or I could, but why would I? Do you understand what I'm saying? The dude lied with his whole life. His whole life became a lie or miscommunication, wrong communication. By getting up, getting dressed, going out the house, he communicated that he had a job when the whole time he didn't have a job anymore. That's miscommunication or what we call lying. How about this? Not flat out lying. How about manipulation in any relationship? Well, you don't want to, you never want to listen to me. You only just want me to listen to you. Okay, honey, go ahead. Okay, go ahead. No, no, no. You're not gonna listen to me. You're not gonna listen to me. No, here I am. Go ahead. Go ahead. You have my attention. That's manipulation. I'm sorry. That's manipulation. Well, I'm not sorry. That's manipulation. And let me just be honest. That drives me nuts. You want me to be quiet and listen to you. Cool. Go ahead. Well, first of all, I just think you have an attitude. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna try not to have an attitude. Like I don't even know how to do this. Now I talk with my hands, so I'll sit on my hands. No, see, you're just trying to be funny. You're trying to manipulate me. That's miscommunication. That's miscommunication, folks. Again, I know you don't like me, but share this out. Get this to as many people as you can. That's a form of miscommunication because you're using manipulation. You know what you're really communicating? That you don't want them to respond. What you're telling them by manipulating them into this space of just completely not having any thoughts about anything. Now, what I'm getting ready to say is going to be it. When I get through talking, that's it. Well, hold on, wait a minute. What if there's something I need to address? What if I need to respond because maybe you've gotten something wrong? Maybe you've misjudged something and you need me to speak. Okay, I listened to you the whole way. But when you get done, we need to go back to point number 3 because that's just wrong. And as a matter of fact, you built your whole argument on a wrong point. We need to communicate and watch this. We need to fix it. We need to fix the communication because you just communicated something that's not actually accurate. Not that you tried to lie, but you misrepresented me. You misunderstood what I said. Do you know I have been in that kind of communication? I can't give you a number. It's too many times. I have been guilty of it, and I have been the victim of it. I have manipulated, especially when I was a kid. I hate to admit it. I have manipulated the communication. Oh, oh, you hit me. Oh, I'm about to die. That's manipulation. And it's also a lie. Nope. I'm misjudging you, by the way, because I'm also telling you that ain't nothing you're going to tell me is going to be right. That's a misjudgment. That's a misjudgment. And that absolutely immaturity. Absolutely. And now you got to discuss something like the bills. Woo! You got to discuss something as serious as money. But now you're on pins and needles because you know the person is manipulating you. You know they are. Okay, let's use siblings. I got two of those. We did it all the time, especially my sister and I. We did it to each other. We did it all the time, which means as close as we were also distant. There were points when we just couldn't communicate. We just couldn't because there was too much manipulation. There was too much mishandling of the communication. Now, look, I say this respectfully, but if you are an advocate of shutting down in communication, you're guilty of miscommunication. But Gabe, no, listen to me. Don't shut down on me. Listen. What are you doing in a relationship as intimate as marriage or dating? You're claiming to be close to your siblings. You're claiming to be close to your parents. You're claiming to be close to people. But the moment that they look like they're going to say something that you don't like, wait a minute, hear me, you don't like. It ain't whether or not it's true, it's that you know you're not going to like it. So you pretty much let it be known, I'm just going to shut down. You're not listening to me. I'm just going to shut down. I'm just going to shut down. You say 10 more things, and then as soon as they get ready to respond, I'm just going to shut down again. That's manipulation. Somebody tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. That is manipulation by default. That's manipulation, and you know it. Because you're trying to get power in the conversation. You're trying to get control, and control is not what you need. What you need is to calm the hell down. Yeah, I said it. And listen, and let them talk, and keep working towards the point of the conversation. Don't shut down, work towards the point. I'm preaching now. Shutting down doesn't resolve the issue. It's a form of miscommunication, and you're not going to resolve the issue. You're not going to at least be able to even agree to disagree. If you shut down, that's not agreeing to disagree. That's just shutting down. Because the word shut down, like me turning off my computer, means there is nothing else. You do understand that, right? When you say I'm going to shut down, what you're saying is that I'm going to cease to not only not communicate, but there's not going to be anything. There is no life. There is no energy. There is no nothing. The word shut down in communication is the most stupidest thing I have ever heard. I don't mean to hurt nobody's feelings, but if you know that this is a person in your community that you need to communicate with, telling them that you're going to completely and utterly and thoroughly take away all ability to communicate is like saying divorce. It's the equivalent. What you're basically saying is that we're done. That's what you're saying. You're saying, I don't want anything else to do with you, period. At all. That's what shutdown means. Do you understand? When you turn off your car cannot run. Do you understand when you turn off your cell phone, when you turn off your computer, when you shut it down, there is no more life. Woo! Goodness. Let me talk tonight. So when you throw out there, I'm going to shut down, it is a form of miscommunication because what you just said was, we're done. There is nothing else that can be said. Well, that's a lie. There is more that can be said. But you want to manipulate the situation in such a way to where you're the only one who is not only talking, but whatever you say goes. And that is not healthy for any community I have ever been in. Ever. Now, Gabe, you got to fix that a little bit. No, I don't. I know what you mean. But what about if they're not listening? Well, ceasing to talk is not shutting down. Let me use a husband and a wife. Watch this. You probably never thought about it. So the wife is wearing him out, right? She's not letting him get a word in edgewise. It happens. She's upset. She's frustrated. Instead of him shutting down, how about he stop talking, walk up to her, and give her a hug? Now, I just said 20 minutes ago, our bodies communicate. Ladies, if I'm your husband and you might be going a little bit too much, and I walk up and hug you, what am I communicating to you? What am I communicating? I didn't stop communicating. I didn't shut down. I gave you a hug. What did I communicate, ladies? Talk to me. Somebody help me. Anybody? If I do that instead of shutting down, now, of course, for men, we walk out. And I understand some of that. Might get a little heated. But exactly. No, I ain't going to make no tea. Good. No, the reality of it is, and I'm saying this can happen both ways. This can happen both ways. Now, watch this. I'm going to show you how much shutting down is detrimental to communication. For all of my Christian friends, what does the Bible say? A soft answer turns away wrath. Wrath, right? It didn't say shutting down turns away wrath. As a matter of fact, somebody talk to me. What happens if a person, I'm just shutting down? Does everything become peaceful? Does it? Does everybody become peaceful? Mom shut down, y'all. Is everybody peaceful? Or is everybody on edge, walking on eggshells? Sometimes. Yeah, yeah, right. What just happened is everybody got manipulated into a position of non-communication. But most of us say communication, 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 right? And yet we advocate for non-communication. Sometimes immediately. Sometimes immediately. We got something going on. We got friction, and we're not looking to solve anything. I see what you said. Exactly. What we really want to do is fight. This is about a fight. But somebody got to be mature. I saw that immaturity earlier. Somebody's got to exercise some maturity and say, hold on, wait a minute. I think we've lost our whole discussion. What do you mean? Because we started talking about money. Now we're talking about what you did last week when I asked you to take out the trash. So let's stop for a second and acknowledge that taking out the trash and money are not the same thing. So can we go back? And somebody should be able to say, this was our original conversation, and articulate and now watch, I'm gonna teach you something real quick and I'm done. And then be able to say and show some understanding. Well, what was the point that I was making? Well, if I heard you correctly, tell me if I'm wrong. Humility is a humility thing. What I heard you say is that I'm spending too much when I go shopping. Is that what I heard you say? I'm not saying I agree. I'm not saying I disagree. But what I heard you say, honey, is that I'm spending a little too much when I go shopping. You know what? That is what I said. And as a matter of fact, what I heard you say is that you don't agree because you know what the budget is. Now, from there, you got your conversation back. And you don't have to miscommunicate by shutting down. Now, if you just know all you're doing is fighting verbally, then yeah, you gotta go to your corner. But don't shut down, just go to your corner. And this I did learn from my parents. My father would leave the room. Sometimes he'd go take a drive, take a walk, come back, start again. Let's try it again. He'd regroup, he'd regroup, and he'd come back and try it again. And I was not very good at that for a long time. I wasn't. I was not good at that at all. I want to hash it out now, and we're going to get it in now. Get her up. What you say? Who? And I don't mean I hit them. I mean I hit them. What you say? What? I bite your whole head off. Not proud of it. I'm just telling you. Look, finally, the obvious one is misunderstand. And all of them come down to misunderstanding. All of them. Ultimately, we have to tell ourselves the truth. It very well may be, I don't understand what's happening. I don't understand what I'm seeing. I don't understand what they're saying. I don't understand why they're acting that way. Communicate. Tell me what it is that I'm seeing. Help me to judge it right. Help me to interpret it. Help me to analyze it. The final word I want you to get is humility. If you really want a healthy community with your children, with your spouse, with your boyfriend, girlfriend, with your coworkers, I believe you can work through some very tough stuff if you have a desire to understand. I had a meeting, last testimony, this past Saturday with essentially my boss. I shared with him. I didn't tell him about himself. Now, I'll be honest. I thought about it. I thought about it, but that's my old me. You know what I did? I told him about me. I went in, I humbled myself. This ain't no brag. It was hard. It was difficult. I went in, I humbled myself, and I told him my situation. And he had some pushback. We had some disagreement, but we got through it. And I can tell you now, just in Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, in 6 days, 5 days, excuse me, a whole lot better. A whole lot better. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you. And that's 2 men, 60, 47, 2 leaders, 2 leaders, 2 people been in ministry 30, almost 30 years, and I've been around it all my life. He's been in ministry 40 years. And we were able to sit there as men, as leaders, as Christians, as brothers in Christ, and get an understanding. I'm going to leave with a scripture. I don't normally do this. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom. And in all of your getting, get an understanding. All right, my friends. I hope this has been a benefit to you. See you next week.